Hi everyone, welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if you're new. My name is Stephanie and this is Stephanie Builds Wealth. And on this channel, I have been inspired through my own experiences and upbringing as a first generation American in this country to understand why we do what we do with money and where those behaviors come from. I am documenting my journey, utilizing my background with psychology and the financial literacy that I have acquired throughout the last, I want to say 4 or 5 years of budgeting to share with you. And I just feel that documenting this is going to be beneficial, not just for myself to look back on, but also it's going to resonate with a lot of other people too. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to jump on the wagon and let's see how this journey goes. This is January's mantra. I am wired for success. And as I've said before, I'm very happy that I have done a great deal of inner work to be able to look at this and say these words out loud and not feel any pushback or resistance within my body and my mind. There's no internal dialogue that counteracts that I am wired for success. Where in the past, when I first started introducing this and reworking my thought process, I did have a lot of internal pushback, and I'm glad to say that I no longer do. So when I look at this, that I am wired for success, and I say it out loud to myself, I believe it to be true. So this video, I'm going to do a quick catch up on the savings. I think it'll be really fun since I was, for the last, maybe 3-4 months of last year, there was just no way savings was happening. But I will share with you the update we have. I have set up 3 savings trackers, and I realized playing with the numbers for this year, now knowing what my raise was, which was absolutely trash, by the way. It was 2% raise. I factored that in. It ends up being about maybe $25 extra per paycheck, which is stunning to me. So now that I have an updated idea of how much money my new paycheck is going to be, I was able to do my taxes. I know how much that's going to be. And I was looking ahead, 2 months down the line. I'm paid every 2 weeks. So 2 months down the line is about 4 paychecks. I realized, okay, I'm going to be in a really worser spot. That's even a word, because I have some big expenses coming up that absolutely have to be paid. They're non-negotiable. And I'm not in a position right now with the income that I have to be able to just shell out large sums of money or really anything outside of just basic necessity at this point. So I figured out a way to carve some space for my sinking funds, which unfortunately means that the sinking funds are getting priority over my emergency fund. I just don't have the financial bandwidth to do all of those things right now by myself as a one income person. I'm not married into wealth. I don't have a wealthy family. I have spent the last 3 years in a lot of financial insecurity and job insecurity. So I'm pretty far down in the debt hole with probably a lot of other people out there. So in lieu of being able to do emergency fund, I made the choice to stick to sinking funds because these are critical. I have to get my car registered. I live in Las Vegas. We do not have walking paths. Like, you don't just walk around the city. That does not happen. If you don't have a car, you're not going anywhere. Ubers and ride shares, those are incredibly expensive. That's not an option. I do have 3 sinking funds. I have my car registration. I have my Amazon Prime membership that renews at the end of the year. And I have a new one for my Republic Services, which is our version of like sewer trash type thing. This is quarterly. So I just paid the bill in January for the $52. I completely forgot about it from last year. I got the bill and I thought, oh crap, I was going to put the $52 into emergency sinking fund, but I realized this has to be paid because, well, you need this. This is a non-negotiable. With this paycheck, so I have 2 paychecks in December. The last one that just went through on the 19th, I was able to put another $33. So I have 2 spots filled. I have 8 more spots to fill in before I reach my goal. And this goal is going to be by June of this year because my tags expire in June. So there's another smiley face. I was able to put another $5 into this. The total is going to be $140. I have made this very small and very achievable since it doesn't renew until December. And as I'll mention down the line, I figured out my new monthly numbers for the year, and it improves slightly, but not that much, unfortunately. So let's see. And I was able to do the first deposit for public services. And let's go over here. So here's my sinking funds. Now because of my financial situation, well, I guess we'll talk about this now. I was really hoping that this year I would finally, for the first time ever, get a significant amount back in my taxes with my interest for my mortgage, my medical expenses out of pocket that my HSA didn't cover, that my insurance didn't cover, that I had to cover out of pocket, with paying back my student loans and the interest for that. I really thought I was going to get a significant amount of money back that was going to knock out about 3 or 4 debts that I had. I am happy to say that I was able to get all the documentation to submit my taxes early. So hopefully I can get that refund before the end of the month or beginning of next month. And I was really hoping to get about $3,000 to $4,000 back. I ended up getting just under $2,000. The fact that I don't owe taxes is amazing because last year I owed. I had a mess of jobs and I owed. So I want to show you. For my 2022 taxes total, this is $45,953. And that is with a combination of 4 or 5 jobs. It was a mess. I was strictly in survival mode, just jumping into whatever would pay me as quick as possible. And I would take these jobs, and I was told one thing in the interview and then experienced a very different reality working in the position. So this was a horrible year. It was strictly on survival. Getting into my new position at my new company, changing careers at 39, just starting over from 12 years of medical and surgery, going back into the office from my 20s and revamping my skill set. My new income was $65,950. I increased my income in 1 year quite a bit. Looking at my financial situation now, is I need to increase that another $20,000 because the goal is to get to a minimum of $85,000 pre-tax. If not achievable this year, then achievable by January next year. So with that realization that I have my financial situation, with my taxes being far less than I thought I was going to get, with my raise being significantly less than I thought I was going to get, I had to really reassess my savings situation and my sinking fund situation. Now, in December, I had thought, okay, I'm going to have an emergency fund, a 3-month fund, a car registration, my pet copay, Republic services, my Prime membership, my self-care, my family planning, and 6 months of auto paid in advance. When I saw the reality of the numbers this past couple weeks, I realized, okay, I need to reassess. The only thing that I'm financially able to do right now, and this is literally with having no social life at this point. I'm still recovering from my knee surgery, which, by the way, after this month, I'm going to be expected to start going back to the office in a hybrid situation. So, twice a week I'll be in the office, which means I'm going to be spending more on gas. That's 4 trips total extra that I wasn't doing now. So to the office, back to the office, to the office, back to the office. On top of my physical therapy, there's going to be a higher increase in gas. which means less liquid money. So I had to reassess and think, okay, I'm still going to try really hard to keep an emergency fund. Unfortunately, the money that I was putting in the emergency fund is now being routed to my car registration, which is non-negotiable. This has to be paid. My Republic service, this has to be paid. My Amazon Prime. I saved so much money and time with my Amazon Prime, including with groceries. I get amazing discounts with things. This is a strategy for me financially right now because I'm so tight for money. Keeping Amazon Prime is a strategic move. Everything else, unfortunately, has to be worked into the budget throughout the year as opportunities show up. I have a balance in my emergency fund. The goal is to get the $3,500. I have experienced with as much job insecurity as I have had, and with the increase in literally everything in every industry and every aspect of life, $1,000 before probably would have been really good. With interest, $1,000 is nothing. $1,000 is not going to get you far. So 2,000 will be what 1,000 used to be. So 3,500 is a comfortable medium. So the goal is 3,500. Of the 3,500, I only have $57.59 saved. Now I say only because it's obviously a ways away off. However, the fact that I was even able to save $57.59 for this is fantastic. I'll take it. Car registration, the balance is $331. This has to be done by June this year. I have $67 out of $331. Amazon Prime, the goal is $140. I have $10. Republic Services, the goal is $52. I have $17.33 out of that. All of these combined, I have $151.95 in savings. All of these, by the way, are in my high yield savings account that is at 4.6% right now. So these are just going to sit there. And I would like to do all this, but with the harsh reality of my financial situation this year, that is just not possible at this time. I think that's pretty much it for my savings. Yep. Yay. Makes me happy that I can actually do this. Like it's really fantastic. So for the retirement and my investments tracker, I've been on the fence about how to do my stocks. I have quite a bit of stocks in Robinhood, and what I was doing for the longest time was just reinvesting the dividends into the stocks, and I wasn't getting the dividends as residual income. So I've decided to change that. So by the end of the year, this will be very different. My retirement savings last paycheck was $3,409.34 change. And I don't really think of the cents as much, but I guess we really should because that does compound too. The overall value of my stocks was $1,011.76. As of the 19th, my retirement is up to $3,210.09. And the dividend total value balance since stopping the reinvestment is $1.33 for a grand total of $3,211.42. Oh, I was able to change my bank situation. From the 19th was the last deposit that I needed to put into US Bank to get the $500 credit for opening up a checking account with them. The 19th was the last one. I was able to switch everything back to SoFi, which means that I will be getting paid on Wednesdays instead of Fridays. I will get my first paycheck for February on Wednesday at the end of the month. And I want to share something with you all. After getting an updated version of my new salary this year, my tax return paying off the Affirm, my monthly expenses, and this is with food at $250 per paycheck, gas at $40 per paycheck. If, ideally I can do $200 per paycheck for savings and my sinking funds, I am at $4,595.07 a month. My current total income is $4,177.84 a month, which puts me in the hole at $417.23 short. I was over $500, but with my tax return, I'm going to pay off my Affirm. So that means that I am only short $417. Now, if I am not able to have the money to put the $200 into emergency throughout the month, this is only $217 short. But the point is that I thought that I was going to be able to recoup this with my raise and my tax return. And the reality is I am not. So what I am currently doing to solve this problem is I'm looking for virtual assistant positions, working with TaskRabbit to outsource my skill set for administrative, contract, personal assistant. I'm going to be setting up an account with TaskRabbit so that I can go ahead and get that going and start getting extra revenue in. I'm not going to be doing, I know a lot of people think, well, why don't you just go do DoorDash and delivery? I'm not doing that. That's a non-negotiable for me. The liability versus the return on investment does not make sense to me. I am not going to put myself in a position where I'm driving more and I'm not really fully healed yet to be driving. So that's just dangerous, number one. Two, my insurance does not include being a courier or a rideshare driver. If I was to add that into my progressive rate, it would be well over $200, close to $300 a month. That's not happening. And three, I am not putting wear and tear on my car and burning through my gas, driving miles and miles all over the city to make $8 off of a meal after taxes. I'm not doing that. That's a non-negotiable for me. My plan is to work smarter, not harder, which means to utilize my mental skill set and my ability to sell things via Marketplace or Etsy. And I'm going to utilize remote positions. So that is my plan for my savings update. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a wonderful day where you're at and have an amazing week. Thank you.